Hey friends, my name is Dmitry. Welcome to my channel. I have great news for you. You may be cancelled, but don't worry. Today we will get clear what is cancellation culture, how it works, what is wrong about it. Let's begin with a real-life example. In early June 2020, the writer John Rowling, who created Harry Potter, tweeted an article about humanitarian assistance. The article said that it's important for women in poor regions to have access to hygiene products during menstruation. Only, instead of the word woman, the author of the text used the expression menstruating people, obviously implying that trans men also have periods and some women, for various reasons, do not. Rowling accompanied her post with a scathing comment. People who menstruate. I am sure there was a word for this before. Help me remember. Of course, later she clarified her position and wrote that she respects trans people, but is against denying the biological gender and depreciating the female experience. After that, a world went mad. A storm of criticism, indignation, and hatred fell on the writer, as well as insults and threats. Transgender people, non-binary people, and women who do not have menstruation wrote Rowling that she was wrong and not everyone who has periods is woman. But this did not end there. Harry Potter film stars Emma Watson and Daniel Radcliffe publicly denounced fan sites distanced themselves from Rowling over transgender rights, have announced that they will no longer publish information about Rowling. Rowling's golden handprints in Edinburgh vandalized with red paint. People began to paint over the author's name on the covers of John's books. The hateful posts on social networks were accompanied by the hashtag JK Rowling is cancelled. In fact, this is exactly what happened to the writer. She became one of the most famous victims of culture of cancellation. That is, the phenomenon of cancellation culture in which people, especially media persons, are literally erased from the information field and public life for controversial statements and actions. A cancelled person can lose career, money, respect. Sometimes you need to do something really serious to do this. And sometimes it is enough to write a careless tweet. In 2019, comedian Kevin Hart refused to host the Academy Awards after being bullied for homophobic tweets from a decade ago. In June 2020, Jenna Marbles, one of the first YouTube bloggers to run the channel since 2010 and amassed 20 million caring subscribers, announced that she was leaving the platform amid persuasion for old videos where she parodized people of African and Asian descent. The most striking example of how a cancellation culture works is perhaps the story of Harvey Weinstein. There are also known cases of other celebrities accused of sexual harassment and violence. Following the Me Too campaign, Weinstein lost his career, money, family, health, and ultimately freedom. Also, putting him on a par with other cancelled celebrities does not seem entirely correct. After all, he committed a real crime and did not speak incorrectly on Twitter. A very recent example of a culture of cancellation is Johnny Depp, who lost the trial to a British newspaper and lost his roles in the big movies. On the first sight, it may be looking okay. You tweet bullshit and you got punished, so what is wrong? We can say that this phenomenon grew out of the institution of reputation, but in the end, it completely got out of control. On the one hand, the media personality has a double responsibility for words and deeds. Thousands and sometimes millions of people look at them and their statements affect the situation in society. On the other hand, the culture of cancellation is now too chaotic and merciless. Punishment is often not symmetrical to the crime. What is happening with Rowling shows this perfectly. The writer expressed her opinion without offending or humiliating anyone, and several times explained her position in detail, calmly and reasonably. She emphasized that she respects the LGBT community, but her views on sex and gender are the result of her experience, and she is not going to give them up. Nevertheless, Rowling loses money, friends, and continues to receive tons of hate in her address. Or here is another story. Taylor Swift didn't like the fact that rapper Kanye West mentioned her in an offensive way in his song. There was a conflict between the singer, rapper and his wife Kim Kardashian, to which fans on both sides have actively joined. A lot of negativity fell on Taylor, who did not say anything bad at all. She was accused of allegedly knowing the words of West's songs in advance and did not mind. The bullying began, the hashtag Taylor Swift is cancelled even appeared on the web. It all ended fortunately well. No one was cancelled this time. Moreover, the culture of cancellation is one size fits all wrong. It seems like there is no difference what the accused did. He spoke inconveniently on Twitter, like Rowling, or raped a woman like Weinstein. Yes, in the second case, the person received not only tons of hate, but also a prison term. But the rage of the crowd in these two situations turned out to be approximately symmetrical. They want to get rid of Rowling just as much. Cancellation has no statute of limitations. Jenna Marbles, who closed her YouTube channel unable to cope with the bullying, suddenly remembered the racist videos of 10 years ago. In 2011, the artist, smeared with self-tanning, parodied the African-American singer Nicki Minaj. Presenter Jimmy Fallon found himself in a similar situation. They tried to cancel him for the blackface he showed in the 2010 sketch. The Walt Disney Company tore apart writer and director James Gunn because of his offensive tweets, which he also posted 10 years ago. However, later he was pardoned and he was able to return. The main problem is that over such a period a person could repeatedly revise his views and even repent of what was once done and said. But the internet remembers everything, and it turns out that the media personality has no right to make a mistake at all. The cancellation culture is selective. Some are cancelled almost instantly, while others get away with this. It is often completely impossible to predict who will be crushed by the machine of public contamination and who will be patted a little and left alone. Cancelling a person does not cancel out the harm done. Here is a certain celebrity wrote on his social networks that homosexuals are bad people or women are blamed for being beaten. This offended many. The statement became a stone that shook the bowl of mutual enmity and intolerance. But from the fact that the culprit will be boycotted and sown with the mud, his words will not evaporate, and there will not be less hearted in the world. A quote that no one really noticed 10 years ago will be now copied by all the media and bloggers, and that it will offend people again and again. The crowd could be wrong. In 2017, actor Kevin Spacey was accused of sexual harassment by several men. It cost him his career. Contracts with him were terminated since with him participation were cut from films already in production. True, no one has provided any clear evidence of Spacey's guilt. Only one incident involving an 18-year-old boy reached trial, but the court dismissed Kevin Spacey. Prosecutors dropped case accusing actor of groping teen from all charges. There are no rules. There are no rules. The punishment for the guilty should not be spontaneous. It would not hurt to have a code or regulation which would spell out what can be said and what not, and what punitive measures are provided for violations. But for obvious reasons, such a set of rules does not exist. In fact, it would legalize censorship and punishment for true crimes. Therefore, a celebrity can cancel out of the blue. If a group of people does not like someone's statement or deed, they try to erase the person. It does not matter at all how much this or that phrase actually hurts on or insults someone. Thus, the culture of cancellation turns into terrorism and an instrument of manipulation. Sit quietly, say what we want to hear, and then you may not be erased. Society only starts to develop instruments that would make influencers take responsibility for what they say and do. The culture of cancellation, as it stands today, is a doubtful decision that doesn't really help anyone. I believe that if any human made a mistake, they should at least have one chance to say sorry. This is all for today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to constantly evolve and don't get cancelled. Bye bye.